Project Greenlight's a contest for screenwriting and directing.
Amateur people who've never made a movie before get a chance to do just that.
We changed the contest this year. There were separate categories of writing and directing.
The Battle of Shaker Heights is a great coming-of-age story.
It's about this kid, Kelly, who's pissed off at the hand he's been dealt by life.
Because I had no idea how to get from where I was to being a Hollywood director.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty intense for them to sort of go from whatever they've been doing to literally coming to work every day and trying to make this movie.
People can see how hard it is to do this. We want to show things as they really are.
Now that filming's over, the next step is editing. This is really the time we find out whether the movie's good or not.
We have about 9 weeks of post-production on this film, which is about a third of what a normal Hollywood film would have. So once again, we're under the gun. Kyle and Efram have to spend endless days, nights, weekends, holed up in a dark editing room cutting this thing together. And it's pretty grueling.
The next few weeks are going to be pretty intense. A lot of cutting, recutting, sort of get the movie right. It's all leading up to a big test screening. The results of that test screening are really going to determine the fate of the movie. Miramax is going to look at that and they're going to decide whether it's 2,000 screens this movie goes out on or whether it's only 2.
I was thinking, you mind if we watch something else today? Like,
yeah, no problem. A Western or...
Police Academy 6?
My name is Richard Nord. I'm the editor here on Battle of Shaker Heights. Many of the films I've worked on have been for some prominent directors like Woody Allen. I worked with Penny Marshall on Renaissance Man, The Fugitive for Andy Davis. On The Fugitive, I was nominated for an Academy Award.
I'm not sure, Richard, but when you had it cut before, you had it trimmed a little tighter.
The editor's job is to take the footage that we shot and essentially rewrite the movie into the best possible film.
I could continue him longer.
Not that much, but that was faster. It's definitely new working with an editor. I've never had to accomplish something on screen without actually doing it with my own hands. So that's a new experience, and just trusting that he's giving me exactly what I want.
There's a few moments that still need tweaking.
If for some reason in the dynamic that's going to occur with the three of us here in editing, he feels frustrated that I'm not capable of giving him what he's trying to articulate, and he wants to demonstrate it himself, I'm flexible. I'm very secure in what I do. I'm more happy to sit back there, drink coffee, and say, that looks pretty good.
The point at which I think you determine if Kyle and Efram are good directors is when they turn in their cut. And that's when you get your first indicator of whether it's really working.
Basically, we had 5 weeks to deliver our cut to Miramax, and Chris and Jeff asked if they could see it after 2 weeks. I think they're just really anxious to see something.
Is it funny?
It's a dramedy. There are moments that are funny, but I wouldn't...
Is it heavy?
It's not heavy. It's not heavy.
Is it fun?
I think they're going to sit down and see that the movie is working really well, even in this early stage.
Rough Cut's basically the first chance you have to sort of see it together and see if we actually have a story that we can tell in 90 minutes. All right, well, I'm psyched. You got anything you want to say before we watch it?
Yeah, you guys are coming in, obviously, really early in the game, so...
Yeah. I was very excited to finally see it, but I was also, you also have that kind of gnawing apprehension that maybe things aren't going to turn out like you hope.
Because it's a rough cut, it wasn't perfect, so you immediately start thinking, well, is it on its way to being perfect, or is it heading down a road that's unfixable and it's never going to be perfect?
Come with me to the hospital.
I'm not going to the hospital.
This isn't about you anymore.
Mom, it's never about me.
On one end of the spectrum, there's this broad slapstick comedy. On the other end, there's this pretty heavy family drama. I'm just not sure those two tones can work in one film.
When I saw it, I just felt like people probably do group hugs in real life, but there's something about when you see it that way that makes it seem not realistic.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Do you want to go get something to eat?
And we had a lunch meeting to discuss everyone's notes and to see like how the movie could be improved.
That first 15, 20 minutes, there is no storyline. To me, I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck am I watching? Like, and I've read the script a couple times, and I'm still going, just a kid walking around being an asshole.
Based on seeing the rough cut today, there are a couple of major issues, one of which is establishing a connection early on with Kelly as the character that you are rooting for.
At the end of this movie, what you want is people to love this character. You know what I mean? I just hope they really understand that for the real average person coming in to see the movie, if they don't like Kelly, they're not going to tell their friends they should go see the movie. There were moments where I thought the tone does move around a little bit, and I can't really figure out what the two tones were.
The main issue is really a tonal one. Not being sure yet what kind of movie it really wants to be, like whether it wants to be My Dog Skip or Rushmore.
It's like when he got to the hospital room, I sort of said, why is he there?
As much as I didn't like it in Dailies, I didn't mind the hug and the pull out of the hospital. And I think if you earn it, it'll play for you.
I think it's pretty unexpected considering who this kid is, and you definitely don't think that's gonna happen.
They left me flapping in the wind on the group hug thing, boy. Jeez, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And those are the obvious things, but it's pretty good.
I would agree. Like, it's good, you know? It's a rough cut, and there are things to be done, and basically, it's good. Like,
You just never can tell with Efram and Kyle. They're not guys that let you know how they're feeling. They're not guys that somehow convince you they really heard what you were saying. It's after the next screening that it starts to get a little panicky, and we'll be down to the wire.
Hello?
Hey, Rick.
What's going on?
We just saw the movie.
Oh, yeah, talk to me.
And we really liked it. As a producer in post-production, you have to balance a lot of different agendas. You want to try and be able to communicate with the directors and get the directors to do what you think is right, but on the flip side, you're also trying to make the studio happy. We're hoping to ask for your patience for another week or 10 days. Then we want to show you a tape.
Right.
Rick Schwartz seeing the movie is definitely the next big step because you want him to get the marketing department psyched. You want him to, get involved.
Can I ask you a difficult question?
Sure.
When you saw the first cut of Stolen Summer?
It's way better than that.
So we have a movie.
I think we really do. I really hope they're working the hours, and I really do hope that they hit it, because I do think it's there. I think we have it on film.
Chris and I had lunch, and I think he sort of just wanted to check in.
I wanted to get some alone time with Erica just to hear what she really thought. What did you think about the movie?
The dramatic stuff is tonally different than I imagined it, and so
Which way?
it's...
Lighter?
No, just cheesier, Like they were asking me sort of, was it the movie that you wrote? And I would say, it's like the first cousin of the movie that I wrote.
I think I have, to a certain degree, disengaged emotionally from the Battle of Shaker Heights. It is no longer the thing I wrote alone in my little room.
It's not my baby anymore.
Chris is basically giving us permission to just put the movie in a blender and shake everything up again.
Now it's time for them to really sit down and make the decisions in their own minds about what movie they want to make and show us their version of the movie.
What's interesting about editing is it's a sort of invisible art. Moving one scene later can completely change your perception of the movie.
Colin Efram took the notes that Jeff and Erica and I gave him and came up with another version of the movie that they're ready to show.
I think the film has improved a lot in the last couple of weeks, so I'm excited about that.
This was a big moment because we were showing Miramax the movie, we were showing Matt and Ben the movie, so we're getting new points of view toward it who hadn't seen it before. So did you watch it?
I did. I just saw it.
And?
I'm really encouraged, man.
Generally, a rough cut is devastating, and you watch it and you're horrified, and you go, oh my God, how could this have happened? And, and by those standards, I thought the movie was pretty good.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Hey!
Does Chris Moore call him?
You sound good, Chris.
Is Rick on there?
Yeah.
Mom, what's going on, guys?
I gotta say, I was very happy and relieved. I think it's a really good first cut of a movie.
I think the idea of this call was to just get everybody to try and figure out areas that could get worked on before we show it to more people over at Miramax. Tonally, I think it's still a little bit confusing about where exactly this kid's head's at.
Well, there were a lot of things from the script that tonally I always saw in a different way. And there were a few times where I felt it was a little heavy-handed.
Listen, little shit. You push, and I let you. Well, let me tell you something. You have paid me back. We are even, whether you like it or not.
You know, I don't think he gets drawn in by his 17-year-old son that easily. He's been on a really tough road. So I think it's one of those kind of hard things to capture.
Because the script was not an out-and-out broad comedy or a dark drama, there was some concern, some of it mine also, that we were maybe reaching too high and it would fall in between.
Right, there are a couple of other questions I had about that scene, too. If we should get into that kind of heavy-handed drama that early, just to establish more of a tone that's funnier and funkier and messed up.
I think that Kyle and Efram wanted to make a slightly more heartfelt movie than I did.
Maybe we will play with shifting those scenes around again.
In shifting things, if you guys do decide to shift them, you have a great performance to kind of lean on. Shai's only 16, but he's an incredibly accomplished actor, and he's really good in this movie. I mean, he reminds me a lot of John Cusack when he was young. I don't know if that's him or that's you guys directing him, but it's a godsend.
The way we left it was that we would see the next cut hopefully next week, and I'd like to show it to people internally here at Miramax.
I'd like to do one more round if Kyle and Efram and all you guys are okay with that.
I'm fine with that. Well, but guys, seriously, it's come a long way, and there's a good movie there.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for your notes.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything preventing this from being a really wonderful movie. I'm optimistic that there are ways to fix everything that needs to be fixed.
Fucking bullshit meeting.
Now it's up to Kyle and Efram to take all the information in and decide what they want to do, and we're also under the gun completely in terms of time, so whatever they need to do it quickly.
It's almost impossible to jump back into the edit and actually be productive. On the day that you get notes, you need to just kind of walk away and get some distance.
And let the ideas just sort of
Forget
take
most of
shape.
them.
Yes. Let the notes that you really didn't agree with fall away, so you can say, I don't recall that, Chris.
I wanted to see Kyle and Efram basically to try and impress upon them how important the screening at Miramax was. We're hitting a stage where really the people we need to be focusing on is Miramax. I think we really got to gear up for them to give them something to sell. Those executives alone in a screening room in New York City, if they don't like the movie, it affects everything. It affects how it gets released, it affects how it gets marketed, and then it affects the specific things like, is there even going to be a test screening? That costs money, and if they don't think it's worth it, they'll cancel it. Really, it starts with the screening from Miramax. And then the supreme hope is that preview goes well. So you get, 78 to 90. People love Kelly, and they have a great time. Basically, it was a touch base, and I guess add more pressure if you didn't have enough.
How is American Wedding going?
We did a test on Tuesday. It did really well.
Get the score yet?
Yeah, we got an 82 in the top 2 boxes, which is pretty good. There's sort of categories that people really look at. There's a rating of excellent. There's a rating of very good. So they're usually the numbers that you hear first. They'll say, okay, you got an 80 in the top 2 boxes. Any movie you screen for people will get a 55, unless it's really awful. It's hard for all of us because our first movie got an 89 at the first screening, so...
Chris was coming in and sort of spouting the American Pie numbers. Those are pretty ambitious. That's also a very broad movie. I just wanted to manage expectations.
It's hard with with a quirky type film. I mean that's sort of why we're trying to drive it to a broader audience. But it's not Chris was quoting American Pie numbers, and that's we want those numbers and we need those numbers, but
You don't think we'll get those numbers?
I don't know.
See, by night, Jeff is a superhero called Negativo. He dons a cape and goes around telling people
naysaying
that their expectations are too high. Hello. Hi, Negativo. We're so excited about our new baby.
Don't be that excited.
Statistics have shown that your baby won't live past the age of 5. What?
When you take into account crib deaths and not to mention all the genetic things that can go wrong. That baby's a cancer in your womb. Goodbye.
Jeff has never been the type of person where you're like, how do you think it's going to go? And he's never like, oh, I think it's going to go really well. Jeff will find a way of tempering everything. I think we're going to get a 93.
Do you?
We're going to place bets on what we get?
Sure.
I'll take the under. I don't mean to discourage. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what.
I'm so excited about Christmas coming. Well, Daddy just lost his job. He's laid off.
And there's no Santa Claus.
Before we can screen the movie for a test audience, we had to send it over to Miramax, so the director sent over an interim cut.
I scheduled a conference call with Rick Schwartz because I wanted to see what he thought of the most recent cut, and I was really curious to see what the Miramax marketing department thought. Hello?
Hey guys.
How'd it go?
I really felt this time watching it with people, you're really not sure tonally if you're supposed to be laughing or upset. The biggest note is that people wanted to laugh a little bit more.
We were hoping that the Miramax version would be just a better version of what we'd shown to Matt and Rick, but it unfortunately took a big step backwards.
There are too many scenes that say the same thing where it's like, I'm pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be a fun movie, not a serious movie.
It's not like a comedy though, guys. You know, it's got more like a drama. But there's certain things I think that we can do that would just help us for Monday night.
Test screenings are given a lot of weight. That's what marketing and distribution and publicity look at.
Rick, you're a champion. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
In a weird way, I'm on their side, but I'm an employee of the company, and I need to convince my own people to work for the movie.
You can tell they're going to wait for the test screening.
Yeah.
And he now is very vested in the test screening being good.
Yeah.
After hearing the Miramax notes, I felt like we really needed some radical re-editing in order for this movie to be ready for the test screening. And, you know, Kyle and Efram only got 4 days to get it done. So, like, Rick is still a big fan, right? The problem was he deflected a lot of it to the test screening. But I would say that'll be a big moment. If it's a disaster, it's bad for everybody. The test screening is the penultimate moment. If the movie, you know, blows it at the test screening, it is an insurmountable obstacle. Sometimes something crazy, you know, has to happen that just throws out, you know, some of the things we all love. I gave them a pretty sweeping, drastic concept of how to change the flow of the movie. There's a whole sequence where his performance is happy and sort of enjoying himself. Leave that as a chunk by itself.
Never more clearly is Chris's brilliance as a producer evident than in that meeting. He has the ability to just zoom way out and kind of look at a thing and try to break it down.
I also think the thing that this movie is going to be marketed on is shy. And so, again, all of these things come to the fact that let's just fucking fall in love with this kid. Let's watch this kid take this delusional ride. Because that's sort of what I'm arguing for right now, is saying, let's do something crazy.
It's a very interesting note. Don't get the note card. Yeah, I want to go take a look at it.
It's hard because, you know, we haven't even had a day off from intensive cutting on this film, and we're getting new notes.
The screening is for you guys. As I said to you before, it's sort of our last crack at it.
You know, I really felt like Chris threw down the gauntlet and said, okay, you know, go in there again and make the movie better.
Don't be shy about calling up.
Okay.
All right.
We may very well do that.
All right.
At this very moment, I'm feeling just overwhelmed. My head is swimming with all the notes. I'm pretty frightened, actually, by the amount of work that we have before Monday. It's a daunting, frightening amount of work that we have to do this weekend. I'm completely lost. Ready. Miramax Marketing called us to let us know how the test screening was going to go and also the things that they were going to use to recruit people.
Hello. Hi, guys. I just wanted to call and just make sure that you all knew what we had planned for Monday's screening. And if you'd like, I can quickly read the concept.
Okay, great.
Meet Kelly Earthweiler. As an avid war reenactor, he fought them all, but nothing could have prepared him for this toughest battle yet, senior year of high school. His parents are outrageous, his love life's a mess, and he's #1 on the school bully's most wanted list. But Kelly just met Bart Boland, a bona fide cool kid. Once these two unlikely friends team up, everything is about to change.
Kyle and I were like, wait a minute. That seems a little extreme for the Battle of Shaker Heights. I don't know if it's actually accurate.
It got me very excited to see another movie, not the one that we've been working on.
I was surprised you didn't mention the laser battles. No, I'm just kidding.
I think probably my only concern is just that the description does probably make it sound more like a laugh riot than a drama, which it has very heavy moments. Would people come in, you know, wanting something very different and then be disappointed?
I don't think so. I think that the humor will play nicely with this large crowd.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Christ.
Kelly Earnsweiler takes on the world.
Fasten your seatbelt and prepare yourself for the comedic hijinks
Of a lifetime.
Whose movie is this?
Special appearances by The Simpsons.
Chris's notes could not totally be addressed, but we poured a lot of energy into trying to make that work.
We'll start out, you're shouting up the stairs. Okay. Since we're making a lot of changes, we had Shia come in to do ADR this weekend to help clarify things and also fix holes that were created.
Okay. Hey, Bart, you got some money you can bring?
Why do I need to go?
Well, I just thought before a big mission, we should get the advice of an expert.
Good, yeah. All right. Woo! 80 plus, we're gonna be in the 90s.
92, brother.
Yeah, don't worry about the numbers yet.
So if we get a 92, we can all go to hell.
Yes.
Yes, 92. That's the plan.
Your life will change if we get a 90.
Today is our test screening. So we were in here first thing this morning, just trying to get it ready. We're gonna be tweaking the thing right down to the deadline. Yeah,
All the work we've been doing for the last 6 months really comes down to tonight. And it's really sort of worrying to me because I really want to make sure that we don't suffer the fate of Stolen Summer. So I really hope this screening goes well.
When Kyle and I in the past have had deadlines to work up to, we usually work up right up to the last minute and then race over with the tape. But apparently that's not the way Miramax likes to do things.
So I suggest you guys stop what you're doing and start outputting.
Okay. Andrea was livid when she called. Basically, we found out they couldn't get the screening ready until they had the tape.
Things are a bit torn apart right now, so we'll see what we can do to cut that shorter.
Okay, understand that's not good enough and just do it as fast as you can. I hate to be a bitch about this, but this should not be happening.
Okay.
Putting a fire under your butts right now.
Well, consider it lit. Okay.
All right, goodbye.
Bye. Yeah, there was just no calming her down. So Miramax doesn't like doing it right up to the last minute.
What the fuck? That's what being independent filmmakers used to be all about.
Yeah, I think we're not independent anymore. All right, here we go now.
Okay. Kyle and Efram were on with Rick Schwartz and Chris Moore.
Hi, Rick Schwartz and Chris Moore.
I was sitting in a production office of The Aviator, another movie that I'm working on. So I had to tear myself away from Mr. Scorsese and company to get a hold of these schnooks and find out what the hell was going on.
Where are you?
We are at the edit suite. The tape is on its way.
So how come it was so late? You said your tape would be out here about 4 o'clock.
Well, I'd just like to apologize to all you guys. Of course, you're right.
The screening is at 7:30. It's around 5 o'clock. Rush hour traffic in LA to get out to Woodland Hills. There is no way that this tape is going to make it to the theater in time to preview the whole thing before the audience sees it. Bad move.
For the future, if you guys ever do another film with us, this is not the way it's done.
Well, just for what it's worth, we feel pretty darn confident that the tape is in good shape and there shouldn't be any problems.
If it doesn't work, then it's a total fucking disaster.
That was an added injection of stress that I didn't feel that we needed at that time. My nerves are just singing right now. Not even from the mix, from talking to those guys. I mean, God.
The tape did arrive. It showed up at the theater, but once again, no one's seen it. So we're gonna learn if it works and how it's playing in front of 200 people.
We've been working in a vacuum for many months now, and almost 200 people are gonna see the movie. This is a huge event.
Could have your cell phones out of your pockets, please.
Do you consider this a high point of the process, the test screening?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's my favorite moment. That's probably why I'm so amped.
Really?
It's my scariest and my most exciting.
I think we're gonna get a 92.
I think Kyle and Efram are appropriately naive about the process. They're showing their first feature to an audience tonight, the first time. So this is all new terrain.
I'd like to welcome you guys to a special screening tonight of The Battle of Shaker Heights. You guys are one of the first audiences to see the film here. As soon as the film is over, the lights will go back up the way they are right now. If you guys can stay in your seats, we'll be up the aisles to hand some information to you. Okay, thanks and enjoy.
You always know in the first 10 minutes whether or not it's going well. I was sitting next to Eric, and the audience started laughing right away. The first big joke, which is the cell phone and the battlefield.
Now it's your turn to do some begging. Please. alone. This really isn't a good time.
The audience was roaring, and I thought, wow, this is going well. This is going to score better than I had anticipated.
It was great to feel the audience being taken on a ride.
Yeah?
It was really amazing, and I thought, oh my God, they're laughing. Thank God.
How am I going to get through to you? Well, advertising executives use status and sex to appeal to my demographic.
I enjoyed watching the movie with an audience, because that's why I make movies. From what I could hear from the people around me, it seemed really positive.
Better.
In 373 research screenings that I've attended, I can count on one hand how many times an audience claps at the end of a preview. So I was excited.
You survived your first screening?
Yeah, it was pretty painless.
For me personally, it was a definite huge improvement. You guys did a lot of good work. You really did.
I felt like the scenes really played well. Like I feel like there's a great movie in there.
After the screening ends, the audience fills out these surveys, and then NRG, the company's tabulating, goes off and literally starts tabulating them right there.
And then you get a report back, tells you sort of how your movie's playing, what characters people like, what storylines people like, what they hate.
The best thing that can happen, I think, is a really good score. Anything 80 plus would be, incredible.
We want everybody here for this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we got, guys. I'm gonna give you the overall scores first. The excellent was a 15. The very good was a 33%. So the total, what we call the top two boxes, which are all your excellents plus all of your very goods, were 48.
No one expected the test scores to be that low, so that was a surprise.
Your norm, which would be like your average movie, like a C rating, is a 55 in that area. So you're lacking in the excellent. The excellent is lower and where it needs to be.
When Gary Buzzkill read the scores out, I definitely got the sense that those weren't the kinds of scores you want to get.
I did feel like when the numbers came in, I was a bit like, oh, punched in the gut.
Wait, the page was upside down.
The movie did play for the most part. Okay, so the numbers weren't great, but I've worked on movies that have not tested well that have been successful, and vice versa. So it's not a science by any means.
I don't care. Fuck it. Fuck this whole movie, man. You think I'm doing this for this?
So what's frustrating is just that it seemed to play. When we were sitting there watching the movie, you think people are laughing, people are having a good time, and then, 48.
Don't get too down.
No.
Not close to the number.
No.
But it was, it played well. We were here.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do.